Hi, I'm Father Cassidy Stinson, and in this video I'm going to be talking about how at my parish, St. Bede, we dealt with a situation that I think a lot of us are in right now, which is rather unexpectedly, we have found that the only way in which we can reach our communities is through live streaming our services. The problem was when we got started, we did not have any kind of live streaming setup. We didn't have any hardware, we didn't have any kind of dedicated system. And the other problem was we knew that we wouldn't have the kind of finances that we needed right now to invest in a professional system. So what were we going to do? It turned out we had a lot of what we needed to build an HD live streaming system right here in the parish, and chances are you do too. In this video, I'm going to talk about how you can find and borrow equipment from around your parish or just from people in your community, things you already have on hand to make a budget live streaming setup, something that will be leaps and bounds ahead of just a cell phone camera. I'm going to talk about three things. I'm going to talk about the connectivity, the way in which you'll need to probably improve your internet connection to get a good HD video online. I'm going to talk about video, the cameras, the capture cards that you'll need, and audio systems. So I'm going to put some links in the video description, and if you want to just look at one of those sections, if you have questions about how to upgrade even just one of those parts, you can skip ahead to that part of the video. One of the first steps we had to take when we started live streaming at St. Bede was we needed to install new connections for our internet. And this doesn't have to be expensive, but putting a new Wi-Fi router in, if you're going to keep streaming, for example, from a cell phone, allows you to have a much clearer signal with your video. If your internet connection is not good, then no matter what else you upgrade, the quality of your live stream will suffer. Your video won't be high resolution, and really all the other hard work you do in building up your live stream won't be visible. Now, one of the great things about live streaming during the middle of this pandemic is really, if you have to run cables around your church right now, nobody is going to see it. And this gave us an advantage because we wanted to have a way to have a much more reliable source of an internet connection than any of the other sources we had, including the new Wi-Fi. And so what we did was we just got a cheap Ethernet cable and we ran it from a port in the back of our church all the way almost up to the foot of the altar. We're just using this Ethernet cable as a way to have constant, reliable internet for our live streams. Nobody is here to see it, so if it doesn't look pretty, it doesn't really matter right now. One of the questions we weren't sure about early in this process was whether or not we needed a really fast computer for your live stream. It turns out that you can work pretty well with a computer that you already had, but you're going to want a machine that you can dedicate just to the live streaming. We found this computer just on an AV cart. It's what we were using to do projections in our parish hall. You can take a computer from anywhere in your parish and probably turn it into a perfectly workable, serviceable live streaming setup. Once we added a second camera to our live streaming setup, we got another computer so that we would have a slightly faster processor to do all of the video encoding. But you can probably make a perfectly good live stream from whatever computers you have sitting around. It doesn't have to be anything really high-end or powerful to start. You can run one camera perfectly well through most newer computers. So what I would encourage you to do is just look around and see if there's a computer, a laptop that you can dedicate just to doing your live streams. It's great to have a dedicated computer for your live streams because you can have all the software ready to go every weekend and not have to worry about changing anything on the fly. In addition to having a solid internet connection, you should also think about the software that you're going to use once you graduate beyond just using a phone to live stream your liturgies. We've been using OBS, which is one of a number of streaming software options you can use to take in all of these inputs, your audio signal, your video. This will mix it all together and broadcast it to a streaming platform of your choice, including what we're using, which is Facebook Live. Another great thing about using streaming software instead of just streaming from your phone is it allows you to add a lot of other features to your live stream, like a waiting screen so that you can allow people to join your live stream before you actually start your liturgies. Another way you can enhance the liturgy is by using visual overlays. We've been using a text overlay during our Mass so that people can pray along with a prayer of spiritual communion that we read during the liturgy. OBS is also key because in addition to taking in the inputs from your video cameras and your audio device, it allows you to sync everything up so that your audio and your video all line up perfectly. One of the problems that we had, and that you would probably see if you use a video capture device, is that the audio was always slightly ahead in our first streams of the video signal. To solve that problem, all we needed to do was go into the settings in OBS and set a delay on the audio signal so that it came in at the same time as the video. So it's a key piece of software, it's very flexible, and it allows you to do all of these things to make your live stream a much more professional and much more enjoyable experience for your parishioners. One of the biggest challenges that we had when we started looking at upgrading our live stream setup was the video. We weren't sure how to get beyond what we already had. And when we started, all I had was my cell phone. The first Mass that we celebrated live on our live stream was just using a cell phone camera. And we still use it for our daily Masses. It's fine. Cell phone cameras are pretty powerful, actually. But we wanted to do something nicer for our Sunday Mass community. Now, I'll say up front, there are a lot of ways in which you can improve your video. One of the most simple is to just improve the lighting in the space where you are recording. Your camera will always do better if you give it better light. But then what kind of device do you want? When we started looking for what we had on hand at the parish that we could maybe use as a new video device to improve what we had and get beyond just a cell phone camera, we found that we had this Sony Handycam sitting around. We'd been using it for all sorts of other different basic video projects around the parish, but it was something that we had that took higher definition video, and even better than just taking great quality video, this Handycam does really well at a distance. So in our worship space, because we have a really large sanctuary, this was invaluable for getting much better shots of the altar, of the ambo, and of any kind of action that wasn't happening right in front of the camera. The problem with using a camcorder or any other DSLR camera or a similar consumer camera that you might have around for your video is you can't just plug it straight into your computer and expect it to work like a webcam. What you need is a video capture card. And chances are this is one of maybe one or two pieces of equipment that you will actually need to go out and buy unless you have one, for some reason, sitting around. The video capture card that has worked best for us so far has been the USB 3 Magewell because it is very simple. It's just plug and play. You can attach your camera to it with an HDMI cord, and it basically just turns your camera into a really nice webcam. And you can run it through your streaming software and use it just like you would use a normal USB webcam to live stream the video from your services. However, we also started with something a little bit simpler, which is the AverMedia Live Gamer Portable. Any of these capture cards will do the same job. They'll take the video signal from your camera and turn it into something that your computer can use through your live streaming software. What I would recommend if you want to really upgrade the video on your live stream is to get some kind of higher end camera that has an HDMI output and attach it to your live streaming setup with a capture card. It's not a professional way of doing the video, but it is much nicer than just having a cell phone camera. It'll give you high definition and it'll allow you to zoom in more on the action that is happening during the liturgy. One of the most important things you can do to improve the overall quality of your live stream is improve your audio. Cell phone microphones are not very good, and a lot of live streams struggle with this, getting good quality, crisp audio where you can really hear everything that is going on. And especially enjoy any of the music if you have any kind of music program happening at your church right now. What I would recommend is look at a way that you can take advantage of your audio system that is already there in your church and use that as an audio source for your live stream. We had a great sound system here at St. Bede, but what we had to figure out was how to take that and put it into our live stream setup. The solution to this problem eventually turned out to be fairly simple. We took an XLR cable and we ran it through this piece of equipment. This is a Tascam USB 2x2 audio interface. What it does is it just takes the XLR cable output from your sound system and turns it into an input that your computer can recognize. A bit like the capture cards that you'll see on the video cameras in our setup, this takes another exterior input device and it turns it into something that you can use as part of your live stream. Once we had the audio device in our system, we could mix it just like we would for a live liturgy and tweak it so it sounded great on the live stream. And then this device allowed us to use that as an audio input for all of our liturgies. The great thing about this device is even if you upgrade nothing else in your system, something like this Tascam USB audio interface can allow you to add high quality audio even to a cell phone live stream. For our daily liturgies, we've actually been taking an output from this and just running it straight into our phones because it'll still capture that high definition sound from our microphones and give us the exact same quality of sound we would have at a Sunday Mass, even if all we have for our camera is our cell phone. It's really simple, but once you have it attached, it's a great way that you can upgrade your audio for your live streams with the equipment you already have. All you have to do is just add one piece of equipment and run it into your live streaming devices. Okay, I hope this quick overview of our live streaming setup has given you some ideas for how you can improve what you have in your parish. And again, I just want to encourage you. Look for what you already have in your church to improve your system. If you can find a camera, a computer, and figure out a way to use the sound system you already have, you can create an experience for your church community that is very, very similar, even if it's just online, to what they experience every weekend at a normal Mass. It'll feel like home. So I encourage you, go and look and see what you've got. Look around, ask around, and you'll be surprised at what you can do. I know there are lots of details about the setup that I haven't been able to get into in detail in this video, so if you have specific questions, please feel free to let me know. Let me know in a comment below, and I will try and answer as many of those as possible. My last piece of encouragement is this. Be creative and don't be afraid to put in the work to make your live stream really great, because right now it is one of the most beautiful and powerful ways that you can engage with your community and bring them closer to God, even when they might feel isolated. So from my parish to yours, I hope that you are doing well, and please let us know if there's any way we can support your community during this time. Take care and God bless.